What are the essentials for a camping trip? When preparing, you can go all out if you want to. And you can. You can bring everything. There's no harm in that. It allows you to pack items that enhance your comfort. It also provides flexibility. You can bring certain items to experiment with. When backpacking, the focus is on reducing weight. But with car camping, you have much more space to experiment. So, in this video, we'll discuss the fundamental necessities that should be on your camping checklist, just enough to get you started. And then you can expand on this list and start to go a bit wild in the future. Storage bins. To kick things off, we suggest you get storage containers for all your belongings. It eases the task of organizing everything. You can effortlessly keep a record of your items. When you do get storage containers, it's best to utilize 3 containers. One is dedicated to sleep-related items, another for camping kitchen essentials, and the last one for various other items. You can get some from Home Depot for approximately $10 to $15. What's more, they're not pricey. They neatly stack on top of each other, making it convenient to just toss them in the car, and you're set to go. Sleeping tents. One of the most important things to consider when you go camping is where you will sleep. That's why choosing a good tent is a crucial decision. It's best that you get a tent that is bigger than what you need. For example, if there are 2 of you, get a 4-person tent. If you are 4, get a 6-person tent. If you are 6, get an 8-person tent, and so on. Just add 2 more people to the size of your tent. This way, you will have some extra space and you won't feel cramped. Also, consider what kind of weather you are camping in. Are you into cold or hot camping? There are tents for almost every situation, but most of the time, you just need a normal tent that can handle any weather. The most important thing is to make sure that the tent has enough space for you and your family. Tent beddings. After you choose your tent, you will also need something to sleep on inside the tent. There are many different options depending on how much space you have for your stuff. For example, floor mats that make the tent floor softer is a good choice. You can also use the sleeping pads, or you can go with the air mattress option. With air mattresses, it's quite cozy and you don't have to carry anything around. Everything is packed in the car, so feel free to make yourself as comfy as possible. If you don't take that air mattress, get yourself one of those inflatable pumps, and it's really up to you what you prefer. If you like the air mattress, go with it. If you like the sleeping pads, go with the sleeping pads. You can also use cots if you have space, and then get some small pillows made for camping and stuff like that. They work great. Or you can bring your pillows from home. Make sure to bring some extra blankets too. Keep in mind that you need to prepare for the weather. If you know it's going to be very cold, like in the 20s and 30s, you know you need to bring more blankets. If you know you're going to be fine in 60 to 70 degrees at night, you don't have to bring so much, right? So check the weather forecast. Try to figure out what you will need. Sleeping bags. Talking about weather and how chilly it's gonna be, the next thing to put on your bedding is a sleeping bag. Not everyone uses sleeping bags, but a good sleeping bag is always kind of a good thing to have, especially when it gets really cold. The sleeping bags have different ratings, from 0 degree, 20 degree, 30 degree, to 50 degree. Now, what does that mean? It means that number is the coldest temperature it can get, and that's what the bag will keep you warm at. So, if you have a 30-degree bag and it drops to 10 degrees, that's just going to be too much for the bag. You're going to need a 0-degree bag if the temperature is going to be in the teens. Another thing that's important too is what side the zipper's on. If you like to sleep on your left side, make sure that the zipper comes on the left side. If you like to sleep on your right side, get it on the right. It may not be something that you think about a lot when you buy a sleeping bag, but they'll tell you in the description if it's a right side bag or a left side bag. Make sure to check it out, depending on what position you like to sleep in. Kitchen gear. A simple backpacking stove is something you should have. It can boil water quickly for your coffee, soups, rice, and other things. You can also use small pans or pots on them, whatever you like. They are very affordable, and we can use them when we are not allowed to make fires. That's another good thing to remember. Some places, especially in California, have a lot of fire restrictions, and sometimes you can't cook on the fire. If you have a big family, there are 2 to 4 burner stoves that you can buy, like Coleman or something like that. That's going to be an awesome choice. All you need is one of those, and it's like having your stove at home. Also, cast iron is simply great for cooking. You can make any camping meal you can imagine in a cast iron. The main advantage of those is that they can get very hot and they can go directly on the fire. Unlike a regular Teflon pan, it would be destroyed. They are very durable and everything tastes good on the cast iron. Besides that, just basic things really. Plates, utensils, forks, knives, spoons. Plates, utensils, forks, knives, spoons, cooking tools like spatulas, tongs, things like that. Very simple. Aluminum foil is invaluable. Besides that, you can bring your personal cooking essentials, ones that you simply cannot cook without. Garbage bags. Garbage bags are very important. After all, you don't want to leave stuff around. You can always open and fill up a new garbage bag as soon as you get to the camp. Fill up the bag as you go along. Right after dinner, tidy up and fill up the bag. And then afterwards, throw it out. Never leave garbage around your campsite. You don't want any bears or mountain lions or anything else to come looking for food when you're trying to sleep. So, keep your campsite as neat as possible. Coolers. The next thing we're going to talk about is that you need a good cooler. You've got to bring your food and your cold stuff out with you. Just make sure it's big enough to handle everything. This is exceptionally good. With coolers, you can also use frozen water bottles as your ice in the cooler. They stay frozen that way longer. Also, you don't have to worry about water filling up your cooler and soaking all your food. Simply use 1-liter water bottles because then you can strategically place them around. But if you got the room and that's not an issue for you, go ahead, freeze up some gallon bottles of water. Or gallon jugs. Those things would be solid blocks of ice for days. But they could take up a lot of space, especially if you don't have the biggest cooler available. So, settling for the 1-liter water bottles would work wonders for you. Fire starters. There are many ways to start a fire. The trick with a dryer lint always works. Just get some dryer lint from your dryer at home. Just pack it in a tube made of paper towel or toilet paper roll. That way, you have some cardboard around it when it ignites, and that helps start the fire. If you want to have fun, you can use different things to make sparks, like flint and steel or those little devices that strike. But if you want a hassle-free fire starter and don't want to waste any time, just use a lighter or matches and get it done. Keep in mind that different places have different rules about picking up stuff from the ground. Some places may allow it, some places may not. So, you need to check the rules and regulations of the place when you are camping. But make sure you have a good pile of small stuff to put on top of the fire when the spark catches. Then it's just a matter of slowly building it up. Once you get the spark, you build it like a puzzle. Little spaces here and there without covering it. Headlamps. When your fire is ready, you can expect your surroundings to get dark. And when the night comes and you start making dinner, you need to see what you're doing when it's dark. So, you should get yourself some of these headlamps. They don't have to be very pricey as well. You can go for the cheap ones, which still work great. Headlamps usually have 3 settings: low, medium, and high beam. They also have a red light you can press on. That way, you don't bother anyone at night and you can still see. They're great to have, either headlamps or lanterns. However, the problem with putting lanterns out is that they draw bugs. So, when you're sitting on a picnic table and you're going to have dinner and you set up all your lanterns, that's when the bugs are going to swarm. They're going to be all over you when you're trying to have dinner. So it's kind of a trade-off. You get the light, but you also get the bugs. One thing you can do about this is to get some white sage and light it. Just kind of wave it around a little bit. Just let the smoke go around you. That really helps keep the mosquitoes and the bugs away. The last and most important thing to mention is to have a small med kit, or just make one for yourself if you don't want to buy one of those ready-made ones, just in case you're going to need it. For example, if someone gets a cut, someone gets a bee sting, or burns themselves on the fire by mistake, you're ready because you have a small first aid kit handy. And then, if you want to make a bigger kit for yourself, we always suggest these small kits. But if someone really gets injured and it's bleeding a lot, you're going to need some bigger stuff, like larger gauze pads, and rolls of gauze and medical tape. It's always a good idea to have an extra kit for bigger injuries, because a band-aid is not going to help you if you really get hurt. When you go camping, you want to have a good time. You want to relax and be calm out there, right? So whatever it is, So whatever is going to mentally as well as physically make you and your family more comfortable, that's all that counts. And there's no problem in taking anything you want to take. So, which of these items are you getting for your next trip? Share your experiences and personal tips with us in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content you see here. Until next time, happy trails!